everyone, what you saw us do is pull out our individual bug out bag cooking setups. We're gonna have a little contest and see who can boil the quickest and what the total boil time is using our actual cook sets and these separate items. And I'm gonna go over mine first. So I'm gonna be using this Pocket Rocket stove and fuel to boil water in competition with my wife. What we have here is a cook set from Pathfinder, which you can find online. You'll see the link listed below. And this is a great item because it nests with a stainless steel cooking bottle, also from Pathfinder. This is a 1 liter bottle and it nests inside there, so it stores really, really well. Got a handle here for lifting this off of the cooking surface, using it as a cup. You got some graduated measuring lines on the inside, and you've got 2 pre-drilled holes on it for a pot hanger where you can suspend this over a fire. Comes with a nice lid, and it has slotting in it too for that pot hanger that lines up with those holes, as well as a venting pre-drilled hole area that you can pour and sift through, and it's got another vent hole over here. I have the MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe stove, and it's a canister style stove, but it does take some space for these canisters. These are propane canisters. This is actually called IsoPro. It's a mix of propane and butane, and it's supposedly better at high altitude. On this MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe stove, this is what's called a canister stove, not a bottle stove where you can use multi-fuels in a bottle and you have a air plunger on it to compress the air. You have to use one of these this could be a downside, one of these pre-done canisters. This canister is a total weight of 13.1 ounces. The fuel weight is 8 ounces of total fuel. It's IsoPro brand by MSR, which is the same brand as the stove. You do not need to use this brand. There's Coleman makes butane, propane mix, and some other brands that will work the same way as long as it has the same thread pattern. So let's unbox this or unpackage this. You'll see here, the thing folds up so nice and compact. These are little pivot pot supports that will pop up, obviously, to rest our pot on. You can see that from the side, pretty handy dandy. This right here is what we call the flame adjuster. One of the reasons this is the deluxe stove, rather than just a regular Pocket Rocket, it has a piezo lighter on it. Man, I just felt that. I had my finger down here. And that thing makes this great. Every time I've used it, it started with 1 or 2 clicks. So that's pretty cool. So that will literally screw onto my fuel canister.
And then for my bug out bag, I am going to be using a stainless steel cup. This has a handle that actually folds over the lid. That way the lid won't fall off in your bag. And then you just bring it down like this, and then it becomes your handle, and you can hold it so obviously you don't burn your hand. And then the lid is vented. It has holes, and then you can also use those holes for straining. And then it is nested in this Pathfinder canteen cup style stove, and it has holes in it pre-drilled for venting, and then for the flame to come up, and then also raised area so your pot can sit on top and not be right on top of those holes. And then for my heat source, I am going to be using an Esbit Heat Tap. They're non-toxic, non-explosive, virtually odorless and smokeless. They don't liquefy when you burn it, and it has a 12-minute burn time for just 1 tap. That's amazing. And it also burns really well at high altitudes. And it gets up to 1400 degrees Fahrenheit. So that just nests underneath the stove top, and then it will boil the water. So we'll see whose water boils quickest. He obviously has, I think, an advantage with a propane heater, but we're gonna see how long this takes, and hopefully it doesn't take 12 minutes.
It's kind of not fair. Yeah, I'm expecting to boil way quicker, but we're just showing you 2 extremes here. The Cook Tab rudimentary cooking system, which is really good. You're not procuring firewood, kindling tinder
Right.
stuff. It's small, it's smokeless. It doesn't leave a huge signature if you're E&Eing. And this is obviously the same thing. It just takes up a lot more space, and it's a lot more cost involved. We're gonna have a little contest and see who can boil the quickest and what the total boil time is.
And it's the pro
versus the amateur. I have filled it to 16 ounces, okay? And then you have Brittany's Stanley stainless steel cook pot, and you see it is right to 16 ounces for the competition demonstration purposes.
I'm gonna lay 2 heat tabs. We did a trial run and it seemed like the heat source it's so far away from the actual pot, one of these wasn't enough. So we're gonna do 2 and see how long it takes. 3, 2, 1, go.
So you can see the nice blue flame under that MSR stove, real direct, hot heat, close to the pot. And then you see Brittany's side with the heat tab. You see it's less direct, a little further away from the pot, so it'll probably take a little longer, but boy, it's putting out some good flame. Sounds like we're getting some pre-boil on the stove. I won, I did it!
Boiling.
What's our time?
9 minutes and 51 seconds.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Okay.
Still got a little flame left on those 2 Esbit tabs.
I wanted to show you the ending of the heat tabs. Like it says, there is no liquid. It did obviously burn into our cooking baking sheet, but we didn't really care about that. We knew that was going to happen. But yeah, it left very little residue, so it leaves a very small footprint. So that was pretty cool, I thought. Well, obviously you guys, I lost, but I think the heat tabs did an amazing job. It took 2 of them to boil 16 ounces of water and about probably 1.5 times the amount it took Rick to do it. So it still will work, especially if you're out in the environment and you don't have any fuel.
So obviously this is a $70 stove and a $5 gas canister. That should cook quicker than 2 simple, inexpensive heat tabs. So that is a great test. We know both work and we know what to expect out in the worst case scenario. Obviously this was done indoors in a controlled environment without wind, without cold temperatures in here. It's about 63 degrees in here. If it was colder out, it may take more than 2 heat tabs, may take 3. And then obviously this stove is really efficient. So that was a fun experiment.
And don't forget, we're gonna link all of these products in our description below, so be sure to check them out and let us know what you think about these items and who do you think did a better job or what item you would have in your own bug out bag.
We know who's better.
Well, at least we got a cup of tea and a cup of coffee out of this. Cheers.
Cheers, and I don't think I won, I think the stove won.
That's true. Well, thank you for watching our Bug Out Bag Cook Set competition. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up.
And don't forget to subscribe to Life in the North 40.
We'll see you next time.